Hi everyone, today I want to share a new collection from Stampin' Up! Called Waves of the Ocean. And at the beginning I'm going to make a series of videos about this because I've made so many cards and I don't want to put them all in one video because it would be hours long. And so I'm going to start each video with a little rundown of the collection. So if this is the second video you're watching, fast forward a little bit until you get to the actual card making. But I wanted to be sure to introduce the collection at the beginning of each video because I don't know where someone's going to be joining in. So maybe this, maybe it's my third video, but for them it's the first one, and I want to point out all the fun items in this collection. So here are the items in this collection. You've got the Waves of Inspiration stamp set, which is really pretty. It's got this really cute little pelican and this gorgeous wave. Look at that wave, the detail on that. This is a cling stamp, a red rubber stamp, so you've got lots of nice detail in there. Amazing realistic look on the wood here, and this wave is just amazing. And then some really nice inspiring sentiments. And then to go with that, we've got dies. Now the wave does not have a die. These dies can layer on top of it and give it more detail, so you can add some blues or different colors and kind of layer these waves on top of them or use them on their own. They're just really gorgeous little swirly waves. You can imagine adding white on top of a dark blue for the breaking waves at the end. There is a die for the pelican. There's some seagulls, two really nice labels that you can slide ribbon through if you wanted to add some ribbon through it. And then you might wonder what these are. So you've got two clouds, and these are actually details to add to the cloud. So let me show you that. I've done one in petal pink and navy so you can see that detail. And you can imagine doing some stormy clouds like that. And then here it is white on white. So it just gives extra detail to your clouds. Since the waves have so much detail, it's kind of nice to give so much detail to the clouds as well. And I don't know if I pointed out the little seagulls. Super great. So you can get the Waves of Inspiration with the dies as a bundle and save 10% on those. And these are going to be in the upcoming new annual catalog, which doesn't start for a couple months. So you got a little while on that. And then there are some additional items that are limited time only for this early release. So once they sell out, they're sold out. And you might want to grab these now because they're really cool. I like that they do that too because I can see what the samples they've made now with these limited time products. And that lets me know that they're going to have new samples in the new catalog that are not going to be using these at all. So I'll have even more inspiration when that new catalog comes out. But let me show you these products. So first off, there is this gorgeous rhinestone set called Rhinestone Waves, and it's got just blues, kind of a Pacific Point blues, darker, kind of going into a light balmy blue pool party, kind of a granny apple green, coastal cabana rhinestones here, just gorgeous. This is my color family right here. So I bought a few packs of these. These are gorgeous rhinestones. So I grabbed that, and then there's a paper collection. And this is called Waves of the Ocean, and it's got a look of acrylic pour, that kind of craft technique where you put acrylic paint sometimes in a strainer, sometimes in a cup with holes that you've poked in there, or maybe you're doing some kind of pour techniques and swirling them with a skewer. It's just that's how the artist created these papers, is literally doing that technique and photographing the results. So she's got some close-ups. This could be something so small and they've blown it up so you get all these little bubbles. It's really amazing. So it looks like an ocean from above, from something they took a picture of from the International Space Station or something. It's just really pretty. I love, love, love that. And then here's another one. Look at that. Okay, so we got that one. That one I haven't cut up yet because I just really can't bring myself to cut this one up. But anyway, I will eventually. I know I will. Anyway, then there's this one. That's amazing. Kind of looks like snow-capped mountains or waves crashing in on the beach. Really nice. Some of these are just pieces because I've been using them. So here you've got Coastal Cabana and Pacific Point, a little bit of navy in there. Oops. Here's Flips of Coral, and this one, I love that. So fun. This one I think is my favorite paper because it has a lot of that granny apple green. This is my color family here. I like peacock colors, peacock and the green and the blues. That's my thing. Not necessarily the bird, but the colors of the bird. Anyway, there's that. This right here. That's me. All right. Here's another one. So they're just all, here's a sunny one. That looks great on a card. I'll show you that card in a minute. Anyway, these don't have to be used with ocean. So that's kind of the nice thing. Yes, they're coming out and they're called, the theme is ocean. But if I didn't show you this with ocean, it would just be an acrylic pour. You can use these backgrounds for so many things. They're really great background papers. So, yes, it's being shown with an ocean feel, but you can do this with anything. Super fun. Really like the whole collection. So I grabbed up a couple packs of the paper because those are limited supply. And then one more thing, blue foils. This is a pack of foil paper and you get 3 colors, 2 of each. So that's 6 sheets of foil. You get 2 in Coastal Cabana, which is this one you're seeing on top, 2 in Navy, which I've already used quite a bit of, and 2 in Silver. So you've got these foils. These are limited time. So the papers, the rhinestones, and the foils are all limited time. All right, so I'm going to show you some cards. I'm going to show them all on this beginning here, and then we're going to make some in some future videos. We're going to make some today and then some more in some future videos. And like I said, if this is the first video in this series you've seen, then watch this whole thing. But if it's the second or third, skip on ahead. Okay. So here is one using a little bit of the foil paper and that designer series paper, and you can see the pretty clouds and just a little pelican. Really nice, just a really simple one. Kind of going from dark blue up to a sunset sky. All right, here's another one just using those waves as motion and background. This one is from the flyer. No, it's not. It's from a different piece. I did some of these from the flyer because I thought they were so fun and I wanted to see how they did them, so I'm going to show you those too. This one is from the demonstrator website flyer. So this one is really a fun one. Here's that wave. It's just being used as a background piece. And there are those green gems that I love so much. This one I was just playing around with. It's a little simple. I might have to jazz it up a little bit. I wanted to see what would happen if I added white embossing. So it really does kind of have that, the waves, the foam from the crashing waves, that white with the navy background. This one is kind of a take on this sample here. And I just was playing around with that. I added a sentiment and changed it up just a little bit, but it's really that sentiment right there. And see how that marble paper is acting as kind of a sunset here. Okay, this one I just made up. I really wanted to play with the dramatic clouds. I wanted them to have more drama. So I've done it with the petal pink and the navy, and I'll have a video on that. And then I accidentally glued it to the back of a different card. I was looking all over for this card. I couldn't find it. I'm like, where is that card? I know I did it. And couldn't find it anywhere, and there it is. So I'm going to have to cut these apart and remount them. Okay, that was my silly problem of the day. Anyway, I like this one. This was something they did on the demonstrator information about this, and they kind of stamped the sentiment over. You can see the word strength coming through, and then here, your strength is an inspiration and strong waves. I really like this one. I can see using this, your strength is an inspiration, in this women's group that I go to. Anyway, I like that one. This one is right off the flyer, and a lot of people were talking about a die that Stampin' Up! Used to have that made this shape, sunburst die. I made it without the die. I just cut it myself, and I'm going to have tips on how to do that in a video making this card. I wanted to do that because I didn't want people to think that they had to go and find the die for that, because that was a die that we sold years ago. I sold mine off. I usually sell my retired products at my blog, so that one's long gone. And then you see things like this and you're like, oh, why didn't I save it? But really, it's really simple. So we'll make that together. And then this first video, I want to do this little series, because I'm going simple to more detailed, and I want to show kind of simple to super kind of an idea. So you can use this even if you can't get the dies. Not everybody has a die machine, and I know that. So the first video is going to be this, and I should have paused so that I can edit and take that out. We'll see how good I do at editing that beginning part out. Okay, anyway, we're going to do this together with these 3 cards. Simple to super. I want to show something with no dies, and then we're going to add a little bit more, And you know, sometimes you just have a few minutes to make a card, and sometimes you want to play and you have plenty of time and you can add more. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to clear this stuff off my desk and we'll get started. Okay, the first set of cards that I want to show use only the Stamp and Die part of the Waves of the Ocean collection, and I wanted to show them because I wanted to kind of start with something simple that uses the set and shows it off, but is on the simple side and doesn't require even the dies. And then you can see I stepped it up a little bit here, adding a few more details, and then here I added even more details. So we're kind of going to go through, we're going to make the first and the second, or first and third, but we'll talk about the second. Okay, so I'm starting with a base of Balmy Blue, and I've got standard card size, and then in addition I've added a layer of Balmy Blue that's going to stand up a little bit. So it's 4 by 5 1/4. It's going to go on the front of the card, but it's going to kind of be raised up a little bit with dimensionals. Alright, so there's our card. And then we're going to bring in a piece of Misty Moonlight. And this piece is 3 1/4 by 2. And then a piece of Whisper White or Basic White that is 3 by 1 3/4. And those are the pieces for the simple card. And we're going to stamp this large wave going across here. And I've done it a few times without using the stamp apparatus, and you can totally, but this is a large stamp and it has a lot of detail, and when you stamp on cardstock it's a little different than stamping on basic white. I'm not sure if you've probably you've noticed that the white is ultra smooth and cardstock is just not quite as smooth, and I really want to show this detail. It shows up really great on basic white. It does show up nicely on cardstock, as you can see, but I wanted to get a deeper impression by stamping a couple of times, and when I didn't use my stamp apparatus I was slightly off, and sometimes that's okay, sometimes it's even fun, but this time it kind of hurt my eyes to look at. I'll show you. So I did it once in one, and then I wanted to do it deeper and I didn't use the stamp apparatus, and I tried to line it up, and you can see I'm just slightly off, and it kind of hurts your eyes. It feels like you're looking at something wrong, right? So anyway, I'm going to use the stamp apparatus, and that way I can stamp multiple times. So I've kind of put it here, and I'm going to grab my magnet. And when I stamped this for my sample cards, you can see I covered more of this wave than I want to. So I'm going to kind of move it over a little bit further than I did before. Before I started at the 3rd line, I'm going to start maybe even at the 5th line. I think I'll go right there. And set that magnet down so it can't move, and then we're going to stamp in Misty Moonlight. So I'm going to ink that up. Got pushed all the way against the back and on this line, so I know I can line it up again if I have to. And I'm going to push down with my palm. There we go. I've seen some people with a tool that kind of pushes down evenly across these things. It's like a little metal, I don't know what it is, but I just use my palm like so. And let's see if that's dark enough for me. It looks good, but I am going to do it again just so I can get more detail on that crashing wave. Like that. There. Okay. So I'm going to call that good. And I will clean this later. Okay, next up on the easy version, I'm just going to stamp that cute little pelican right here on my piece of basic white. And I'm going to stamp it in my, oops, that's not my pelican, that is a sentiment. I'm going to use the Memento Black. It's going to go right in the middle. And then I'm going to color it, and you can do The images here are very small, so you can do regular markers, your blends, your colored pencil. My sample here, use the colored pencil. I was trying to keep it simple, and the colored pencils, if you haven't used them before, are really nice because they come in a variety of Stampin' Up! Colors in a very inexpensive pack, and so you've got lots of coloring options, really easy. But I do have my blends, and they're sitting here on my desk, so I'm going to use them. But blends, look at this tiny little bill of this pelican and the little feet. I mean, you could use a regular marker. There's no blending going on. I also took a little bit of light smoky slate, and I just kind of gave the pelican a little bit of gray. Use the nib end just on his back. Just kind of gives him a little less of a flat look. And tail feathers tend to be a little darker and under his neck, just so he's not so flat. And then these little, what are they called? Pillars? Pylon? What are they called? I'm not sure. We're going to go ahead, piers, stakes of a pier. I'm just going to color those with crumb cake. My crumb cake is probably the most used of my blends, and it's starting to die a little bit. And then I'm going to go in with the dark and just kind of give it some dark highlights, a little shadow. Just giving it a little dimension. Okay. So it's very minimal coloring. Right there on my Misty Moonlight. Okay, so let's go ahead and start putting this together. I'm using this ribbon, and it's Misty Moonlight and white and silver. Really fun, and it comes in a combo pack. There's a gingham that's really pretty and a white, and I love that whole combo pack. We're just going to use this kind of twine. I'm going to go around twice. Well, I'm at the end. Perfect amount. It's okay, I have another pack. I like that a lot, so I have another pack of that one. Right, let's just make a bow. Let's see if we have enough here to do it. I think we do. Oh, and I meant to add a couple little seagulls up in the sky. I'm going to do those in Misty Moonlight. Oh, I forgot my happy birthday. I want to get that in before I glue it down, because then it'll have a wobble. Hopefully I can get this nicely, even though this ribbon's kind of in my way. There we go. Whew. And my pelican. Is gonna go right there. Okay, so there's card number 1, simple but still very cute. Then I'm gonna show you number 2. Number 2 is very similar to number 1. Let me grab number 1 again. The only thing here is I've cut out the pelican and brought him up a little bit. So he's got a nice shadow around him, really gives a nice detail to the pelican. And then I've added this birthday label. And I'm still using the same ribbon. Everything else is the same, seagulls. But I've just put him on the sentiment. So this one does require the dies. But just so you know, there's a sale going on right now. If you're watching this video in March 2022, there's a sale on the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, the mini one, and it's on sale 20% off right now. So just so you know. Okay, now let's do the third card. I've already done this part because you've seen it. So we're going to do this little background here. I'm going to stamp the pelican on a piece of scrap paper and then cut him out. There we go. I'm also going to stamp my happy birthday and cut that out as well. I wonder if I can do them on the same one. Let's go ahead and try it. Alright, I did that in Misty Moonlight. So here are the dies. I had them a minute ago for the video. There's one, and here's one. Okay, so this is the little thing that's on sale right now, and it's super cute, super small, and yet it cuts out almost, I mean, it cuts out so many. Not all of the dies are, some of them are too big. You know, the whole page dies are the really big ones, but this one, they all fit in here. Even the big wave can fit on here, see? So let me do that. I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna color it first. That's easier. I just got so excited to show you that pelican. I mean, that little mini machine. Now we're going to cut them out. All right, so I'm going to use the pelican and this little skinny label. Now I like to put them down with some washi tape just so they don't move. These stamps might be too close together. Let me see if it overlaps. Nope, I can do it. Okay. All right. So the sale, you get these little plates too. You get everything you need to get going. So think about that. And then you're just going to crank it on through. And there you go. One real quick thing I want to show you is when, I don't know if you noticed, but I did not have my plates, like I put my things inside. They were staggered a little bit, like I didn't line them up and have a blunt end. If you're trying to put it through the rollers and they come in contact with this all thickness at one time, sometimes it won't go through, it won't catch is what I'm saying. So if you stagger them slightly, and it doesn't matter, some people say stagger the top one, stagger the bottom one. I pay no attention to that. I just, as long as they stagger a little bit so they're not, your rollers are not hitting this big thickness, just going from nothing to all thickness at once, it's best. So just kind of give it a little taper or something and they go right through. All right, so I've got my pelican and my birthday, and then we want to do a background on this. So I'm going to kind of make a sunset, sunrise, don't know which one it is. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends. I'm going to just use two of these. They come in a 3-pack, and you can use them over and over again. They rinse really clean. They're really nice, and I'm going to show you how to get a good color. So you're going to kind of go in a circular motion, pick up some color on the sponge, or it's not really a sponge, it's actually tons of little bristles, millions of them. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, you're not going to go straight to paper. You're going to go a little bit off to the side and then kind of roll it on over and do that circular motion again. And then if you want to darken that a little bit, go again. Okay. So there you go. That was Balmy Blue. And then I'm going to come in with some yellows, and I'm going to go with Daffodil Delight and Pumpkin Pie. I want to see if this is still a little dirty. Okay, so I'm going to use the same one for both the Daffodil Delight and the Pumpkin Pie. As long as I start kind of light and then go dark, I'm good. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Daffodil Delight, and you're going to pick up that color, kind of move it around so you're not taking it off on the same spot. And then remember what I said, don't go straight to the paper. That's because you can get kind of like a harsh splot, like a harsh when you touch it down, and you don't want that, so you want it smooth. So you want to kind of start off the paper and then go over. Now on the edge here, because it's catching that edge, it's going to be a little darker, and that's okay. Now with green and blue, they make green, right? And we don't want a green sky, so I'm trying not to go over the blue. I'm staying away from the blue. When I do the orange, I do want to blend them really well. But here, I'm just touching it. I don't want green, so I'm just kind of getting it close. But that's it. All right, so now I can go like add the rest, kind of clean off that Daffodil Delight and go crazy. And then we're going to add pumpkin pie. Pick that up. Again, I'm starting off the paper, and then I'm going to bring it to the paper. And there we go. I'm going to go up into that yellow a little bit. Got a nice transition there. This is the only one you have to worry about. Okay. So again, these are going to rinse nicely in my sink. I'm just going to wait till after I'm done with these cards, because a lot of them, I did a few of them with that technique. So now we're going to go ahead and layer this. And I don't know which to put up on top, the blue or the orange. So I felt like if I did this one, it could be the sun's coming down and this is water. If you go this way, the sun is setting, the sky is kind of taking over. I don't know which is better. So I did one way. I'm going to do this one the other way, just for a change. All right, so this one will go that way. Some dimensionals on the back of my pelican. I've got these little edges here I'm going to use up. Got to use up those edges before I open another pack. I just remembered I forgot one thing I wanted to do, because this is the stepped up card. I was going to actually wrap that pillar, that pier, pylon, whatever it is, in some linen thread. Let me grab my linen thread. And so all I'm going to do is put a glue dot behind, just to kind of hold it in place while I wrap. Alright, so I'm going to hold it in place with that glue dot. And I'm kind of following the way the wrapping is on the stamp. Just kind of mimicking the image, and then press it down in that glue dot again. And I'm going to put another one on top just so it doesn't come out. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and finish the card. So I've got my happy birthday going, and how I'm going to put that down, let me place my pelican so it doesn't shift on me. I shifted it on myself. There we go. Then we're going to put the birthday like this, and I'm going to use that same ribbon. Here's the new roll. Let me open that up. Okay, so I'm going to go, oops, in the top. There. Place it. Now this side I need to put a dimensional behind to raise it to the same level as this side, so let me grab a dimensional. And this side does not need a dimensional because it's already high because of the pelican, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a little bit of adhesive. And then I'll tie my bow. I need someone to come and put their finger down here for me. But my daughter's still at school. There we go. Alright, now let's tighten these up. I like to pull with my finger on the knot. It kind of keeps it tight so you're not constantly tightening and loosening, you know. Alright, I gave myself way too much extra ribbon here. I wasted a little bit. Alright, now I'm going to place it down on my card base, and then we're going to add some of those really fun clouds and seagulls. Oh, let's put this one down with some dimensionals. Okay, now I cut a bunch of those out already, those clouds. So I'm going to use the ones that I've already got sitting here, unless I don't have any small ones. Oh no, I do. Alright, so I'm going to do one flat, and then I'm going to stick the other one up with a dimensional. And I need to use the mini ones because this is a tiny cloud. And I just got some new mini dimensionals in. And where did I do with the one I opened? That's not that. Alright, I'm going to cut this. They were right here. They're probably buried under that pretty paper that I was showing you earlier. Okay. So then that one can go. So it's got a little height to it. Right there. Oh, and I wanted to do the seagulls. And I don't have one of those already cut out. So let's cut out some of these really cute seagulls. And I'm going to use some of that really pretty foil paper. Now, I'm not lining anything up here, I'm just putting it down. So, no washi tape needed. Okay, now, there is some sticky paper that you can put on the back of your cardstock before die cutting these tiny little things, and I should have done that, but I can use this liquid glue. These are small enough where I'm not going to worry too much about it. And I'm just going to let them fall where they fall. I'll show you that sticky paper adhesive on when I do the waves in another video. There, so I've got some silver from the thread in the ribbon up on my seagulls as well, so it kind of brings it all together. So I hope you like these. I've got my simple, where'd it go? Here we go. Simple, a little more detail, and a lot more detail. I hope you'll check back and watch some of my other Waves of the Ocean cards. It's so pretty. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. You can download the flyer for this whole collection at my blog, Best Paper Cuts. I would love to be your demonstrator if you don't already have one, and check me out at my blog. Thanks for watching.